All right, in this video, excuse me, in this video, I'm gonna talk about habits, why they're important, and how we can change them starting today, and how it's not as hard as you might think, but it's still kind of hard. Let's dive into this. So to start, do you have a habit that you want to change? Is it weight loss? Is it, being nicer to your family? Is it an emotional pattern? Whatever habit you have, and we all have disempowering ones. I do too. For me, mine is an emotional pattern where I don't feel very giving. I feel kind of selfish or not, inclined to share in a way. And that's a pattern I want to change, and I'm going to look to find the trigger of that, but something that I'm working through. But we all have them. So what's yours? What habit do you want to change? It's really important because if we think about it, our life is just an accumulation of days, of rituals, of habits that we do on a daily basis. And so if we want to change our life, we got to change our habits. Now, why is this difficult to do? I mean, there's a million people out there that want to, more than a million, that want to lose weight, but why can't they stop eating food? It's not as simple as just having the food right here and putting it on the plate. There's more that's involved. So there's a simple habit loop that I want to share with you. Trigger, habit, reward. For example, you wake up in the morning, your alarm goes off. Maybe that triggers coffee for you. And then the reward is the dopamine rush that you go to your brain. But what if you're a person that wants to stop their coffee addiction? Which is not me, by the way. But what if you're someone that wants to do that? Well, there's a simple way that you can go about this. So out of the three things, trigger, habit, and reward, out of these three things, you have to change the trigger. And here's why. Because if you try to change the habit, that takes willpower. I mean, we've all tried to change a habit of stop eating or exercising more or whatever it is, and it takes willpower, doesn't it? You can do it for a few days, a few weeks, but willpower eventually runs out. Now, similarly, when you try to change the reward, you can't do that because it's already too late. So like when you try to change your habit of drinking coffee, you get up and you drink the coffee. Well, it's too late because you're already getting the reward of drinking the coffee. The dopamine's rushing to your brain in that case. So it's best to change the trigger. So maybe for you, when the alarm goes off in the morning, instead of triggering coffee, you can trigger going to the mirror and saying I love you to yourself, because that's my favorite tactic to give people. Although I think I should practice it more. But anyways, so you change the trigger. So you change what the trigger means. So instead of the trigger meaning coffee, the trigger now means going to the mirror first. But how does this change actually take place? Well, there's three ways to change a habit. The first is called an epiphany. Oh, and by the way, these three habits, they're from a guy, B.J. Fogg. He's a habit researcher, and he's very well known and accredited in this area. So the first one that he came up with is an epiphany. Like, whoa, oh my God, I should stop drinking coffee. Like it just came to you. The only problem with an epiphany is that you can't really create them, or it's more difficult to create maybe. Any epiphany I've had, it wasn't because I really tried and made it happen. It just comes to you, The second is environment. Now this is personally my favorite because I'm in Bali right now and I'm realizing how much this environment has changed the way I view my world. Like it's shattered so many beliefs. I've become a happier person, but not everybody can or wants to move to Bali. And even with the coffee example, like not everyone can get away from their kitchen if they have a coffee maker. You could get rid of the coffee maker, but what happens when you drive down the street and you see Starbucks? So the environment is tougher to change and you can't change it in every case. But the third one that he mentions you can always change, which is small, simple steps. Just really small steps. You can change a habit. So what this means is, like the example I just mentioned before, maybe you can change the trigger from when you get up in the morning as opposed to instantly going for the coffee. You go to the mirror first and smile and say I love you to change your state and to give you a different reward to change the dopamine reward that you get from coffee. You get dopamine now from saying I love you, I'm the man, I'm the woman in the mirror. So that's what you can do, but it's difficult to change a habit right away, so you have to practice. But at the start, this is very important, intensity is not as important as the habit itself. So when you go to the mirror, don't feel like you have to stay there for 20, 30 minutes saying I love you, I love you, I love you. Instead, you can just go there, smile, and walk away. But you have to go every day, and even if it's not you don't have the intensity, it's important that you just build the habit of getting up and going to the mirror. That's the important part. You can always build up and stay there for 5, 10, 20 minutes if you'd like, but just to start, go there and get in front of the mirror every single day. That's the important part. And another thing you can do, now this is very important too, because like if you have a super strong and wired in habit, then my God, is it tough to change. Because what is a habit? A habit is nothing more than something that's been wired in over and over again. The definition of a habit is that the body knows it better than the mind, and so it's automatic, it's unconscious. So it can be a strong force to change this, and so it really helps to visualize this dismantling of the habit in your mind before you do it in real life. Because it's wonderful. The brain does not know the difference between my imagination and real life. It's phenomenal because I can visually rehearse with all my senses in super specific detail myself seeing this trigger of the habit and overcoming it and changing my behavior. I can visualize this 40, 50, 70 times, and in real life when I go to do it, it'll be a little bit easier, and then a little bit easier, and then very easy, and then you'll change the habit. So takeaways from this is small, simple steps always work, and don't worry about the intensity. Don't be hard on yourself. Even if you miss a day, just get right back on the horse. It doesn't mean it's over. It doesn't mean you failed. It just means you missed a day. Get right back on the horse and then keep rolling. Keep trying. Small, simple steps. You can always increase the intensity. Try to do the habit change for like 100 days. Gain some awareness on the triggers so you know what triggers it, so you know what to visualize if you decide to do that. And work with yourself. Be loving with yourself. Be kind with yourself. And change those habits, because what we do every day creates our life and our destiny. So it's worth it to try, it's worth it to change. And I hope this video provided you with some value, and I hope you share this with someone that you love, or that you want to share this positivity or this personal growth stuff with. It's infectious, and I'm so grateful to have people like BJ Fogg teaching me, and I hope I can provide some of that same value here with you. Thank you so much for watching. And